of their characters. So it's always great to see two great players play.
All right, and speaking of, I guess, great players, here we have Ice on deck versus Mr. Thugs, rocking his signature top hat. We're getting a shot of that now. All right, so this matchup, I think, is one of the more interesting ones that we're going to see today. It is going to be either Toon Link or Min Min from Ice on deck, and then we're going to get the Bowser Jr. from Mr. Thugs. How do you feel about this matchup?
You said it'll be Toon Link like Bowser Jr.
Or Min Min, depending
Or
on
Min
who
Min.
Ice on deck decides to play.
We're gonna see the Bowser Jr. So first off, Ice on deck. I think that's the Professor Layton head. That thing's like sick. But this,
I think it's
I mean, both
Dr.
these guys like
Facilier
Dr. Facilier. Oh, am I?
from Princess and the Frog.
Oh, wait, yeah, that actually makes more sense. But
But
regardless,
back to what you
gotta
were
say
saying.
Cap. But yeah, it looks like we're gonna get the item thrower matchup. Hashtag item throwers in the house. Love that. But I feel like Bowser Jr., he's kind of slept on in the meta, and so is Toon Link, but, to a lesser degree. So I feel like maybe Mr. Thugs has he's got fake mind cards, so I'm thinking that might be able to win him the day here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a pretty big war of attrition. Both of these players are known, or both of these characters rather, are known for having a lot of things that they can just throw out in order to sort of change the pace of the game, such as the Mecha Koopa or the bombs if you're Toon Link. But either way, you can see Ice on deck is playing a significantly lighter character than Mr. Thugs. The heaviness of a character like Bowser Jr. is really going to be an asset to him in this game, especially the armor of the minecart.
Absolutely, and we're seeing that Mr. Thugs is like
Or the
kind
club.
of trying to do a little bit of something freaky on Shield, but he's also keeping up with the amount of damage that Ice on deck is able to put out, and as a heavier character, that's always a big win.
It's great. I mean, a character who is heavier is going to get a lot more for them with rage than a character who is lighter, and I think that's what Mr. Thugs is going to demonstrate with this set. As you can see here, Ice on deck getting sent off stage and going to lose his first stock here by Mr. Thugs.
Yeah, big forward throw will take it, and now Mr. Thugs has full rage. He's gonna eat a forward air and still gonna be living. That's the price of being heavy, as Ice on deck doesn't have a projectile that's gonna kill him.
Yeah, I mean, living through all of those projectiles, just giving himself a little bit more rage. Oh, okay. So Ice
gotta
on
eat
deck
that
finding the up B there to take the first stock.
Yup, and all of a sudden we're back even, so not too much of an advantage gained by Mr. Thugs, but that ability to be able to take the stock first is, in this war of attrition, is looking like it's going to be the power move.
Oh yeah, for
Yes.
sure. It's a big deal because it really sets the pace of the game and it puts your opponent on the back foot so that they feel that they have more that they need to do. However, Ice on deck here, able to put on a significant amount of damage on Mr. Thugs. Ice on deck only has 18% to his name. Meanwhile, Mr. Thugs has 126% now that he needs to make back.
Yeah, and he's just going to try and with the up B, good parry. That's going to get a little bit of something started. Yeah, you got the
Yeah, down
Jump
tilt into
freeze
the
and the
Mecha
back air.
Koopa, sending him back into the down tilt, and now going here for the ladder combo. Now, as you can see here, Ice on deck trying to fish for those up airs. However, he's going to get sent off stage, avoiding the Mecha Koopa, coming back. Mr. Thugs utilizing
Whoa,
abandoned
what
ship,
type of angle
and
was
that,
that?
whoa, okay. Yeah, so that's going to be another stock there for Ice on deck. This Toon Link is cooking today.
Yeah, it's looking all great for him. He's got a little bit of rage on him, but he's gonna hit that up smash. Great read by Mr. Thugs to even it out here in game one. So they're gonna slow it all the way down as Ice on deck is looking for the opening to get himself a grab. As we haven't really seen too many of those, as Mr. Thugs gets one and converts it into a lot of damage.
Yeah,
But-
as you can see here, these two are just sort of playing more patiently because it is their last stock. That doesn't mean that they're both not going to go for some big damage when they can, but it seems to be a lot less swinging on each other than we saw at the beginning. So these two know that it is the last stock of game one. They are trying to close it out as best they can. Mr. Thugs has a little bit more damage on him than Ice on Deck, but that doesn't matter too much when you play the heavier character. He is going to fall right into that up B yet again, though, and that is going to be the first game, rather, for Ice on Deck.
Yeah, Ice on Deck coming in and just like closing it out with that big fair. Got it a little bit greedier than we've been seeing him play all game, and maybe that just caught Mr. Thugs by surprise.
Absolutely. I do think that Ice on Deck, for the most part, played a pretty conservative
Oh my god,
game.
that
However,
fair.
oh yeah. I mean, the F tilt, oh my goodness. So Toon
That
Link
thing is
F
so
tilt
weird.
sends on such a nasty angle at a place where even a character like Bowser Jr. is not going to be able to recover, especially not at that percentage. But we are coming here to small battlefield, going to get started for game two, and it's looking like Mr. Thugs needs to find a different game plan if he wants to take a game here.
Yeah, I mean, well, we've seen it work out a little bit for him as he's got a big combo here off that grab. And now we're just big shark as he will not let Ice on Deck touch the ground. 54% climbing. Yeah, Ice on Deck is just gonna decide that he wants to get on the ground and he'll do it if he darn pleases.
Okay, now, as you can notice here, though, Ice on Deck went for another up B, and Mr.
Oh,
Thugs
big
avoided it
up B
this time.
combo.
And then here, able to get the first stock there for Mr. Thugs, as he did get the first stock in game one. However, you can see him avoiding these up Bs here from Ice on Deck, as that was something that took a lot of his stocks in game one.
Yeah, we're seeing him get hit by another one. That move is so fast. It's pretty great out of shield. So it's gonna be one of those options as, you know, we see Mr. Thugs just tap on the shield, see what's going on, make sure it's safe, and make sure that Ice on Deck can't touch the ground once again. 66% off of him. As
Yeah, getting the tail end of the abandoned ship there, able to rack on some damage. However, Mr. Thug still on his first stock and trying to take yet another stock away from Ice on Deck. He's gonna sit here under the upper platform and try to send out the arrow, try to send out the boomerang, holding a bomb now in order to try to get some damage off of Mr. Thugs, finding an opening where he can, but he is going to get hit with that rapid jab and getting sent off stage. Not enough to kill just yet, but he has to avoid that cannon and the Mecha Koopa if he wants to recover.
Yeah, and they both kind of mutually save each other as Ice on Deck was like on his way out. But great grab by Ice on Deck. Almost died to the little claptrap. And it's gonna get stuck on this ledge. Great bomb that's gonna still keep him in danger for a little bit, but the grab will get him out.
Yeah, actually, these two just kind of playing footsie on each other's shields, trying to find whatever they can in order to do some damage, finding out whether it is safe. And there, Mr. Thugs threading the needle to find that back air as Ice on Deck is utilizing his up B. Excellent stock right there.
Yeah, that's gotta feel so good. That move that's been bothering him the entire set, he was finally able to just like thread the needle and punish it in the way that I'm sure he knows that he can.
Yeah, absolutely great stuff. And these two are just swinging now, as you can see here. Mr. Thugs putting on so much damage right here, finding himself up with the abandoned ship, sending Ice on Deck off stage now, doing whatever he can to keep him from recovering. But these two are just going to end up putting more damage onto each other as they both make it back to stage. Ice on Deck finding the F tilt, but not being enough to kill here yet. Mr. Thugs trying to go for another back air, but these two are just sort of swinging for the fences. Here, Ice on Deck sending Mr. Thugs off stage yet again, and now Mr. Thugs trying his best to patiently recover.
Yeah, and Ice on Deck has been throwing everything in the kitchen sink at him, except for like basically up air at this point. Every other move just hasn't done an up smash, won't do it. This Mr. Thug guy and the Bowser Jr. is just way too heavy, as now Ice on Deck is in a rough spot himself. Mr. Thugs goes a little bit too low, and he'll be stuck on the ledge. He's still got 2 stocks, but a whole bunch of rage.
Absolutely. As the heavier character, 178% is going to be to his benefit and not his detriment, though. And here, Mr. Thugs not able to close out the set just yet with the rapid jab. And here, Ice on Deck trying to find the kill that he needs, and he would still have to make up another stock. There is the F tilt, though, getting that stock. However, Now, Ice on Deck is the one with the rage. Mr. Thugs trying to come in and get as much damage as he can, trying to close out this game, going to get hit with the tail end of that up B though. And that is a game on the board for Mr. Thugs.
Yeah, so Mr. Thugs comes out extremely aggressive that game and just making sure that not only was he keeping up with Ice on Deck's damage output, he was exceeding it exponentially. As we see him get caught up by that up B once again, but just walk into the up smash. Works every time.
Yeah, it was great to see him finally answering back to the up B. You did see him get hit with it a couple of times, however, he was able to just sort of call back and answer to it, you know, finding his own, utilizing his own kit to sort of call it out from Ice on Deck. So that is the sort of adaptation that you want to see. Going into game 3, I think that these two have sort of bust out a lot of each other's favorite moves, so it's going to be an interesting game to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely. And game 3 is going to be right here on Smashville. And it's a bit of a smaller stage, so this actually works out a lot better for Mr. Thugs, one would think. But Ice on Deck seems to have himself a plan, and that's to get aggressive. He's got 48% on Mr. Thugs, already had a combo, but he'll be stuck on the ledge once again. Good back throw.
Yeah, as you can see, Ice on Deck just sort of reaching through that pummel from Mr. Thugs, or the rapid jab rather, in order to get the back throw. But these two are both going to live it and just keep fighting to see another day as they are trying to delete each other's stocks here. Yeah, here Mr. Thugs going for the back air, instead having to resort to going to the other side of the stage, recovering low here in order to avoid the F tilt from Ice on Deck. However, these two are just sort of swinging around each other.
Yeah, both are tossing as much damage as they can, as the Koopa Trap will send Ice on Deck to early, well, an on-time grave. He'll lose that stock at about 120.
Yeah, pretty normal stuff here for Bowser Jr. Just another day at work. However, he does get sent off stage, going to go pretty far thanks to the back throw there from Ice on Deck. And then Ice on Deck is going to chase him to the center stage in order to take that stock.
Yeah, and Ice trying to make sure that he continues this advantage, but he's still stuck on the ledge. He's going to get hit by that cart and will still be alive, but eats the up B, and that'll do it for that second stock. Ice won his last stock here in game 3, and Mr. Thugs is making sure that he doesn't get the chance to make it close.
Yeah, absolutely awesome conversion back there from Mr. Thugs, able to take that stock. But here you can see he is trying to continue to rack on the damage, knowing that Ice on Deck is on his last stock, and he still has a pretty good amount of damage to burn. Going to get hit with that up B there, adding on some damage there for Ice on Deck. Ice on Deck, though, going back off stage, needing to prioritize his recovery instead of the damage, and still eating up some damage here. But these two are just sort of playing around each other, both shielding, and oof, oh man.
Yeah, he just hits him with the little fake out dash back, and that cart it's been huge for him this set. It's just like he has the burst option, and Ice on Deck just doesn't really have a way to get in reliably like Mr. Thugs does with that Bowser Jr. cart.
Yeah, I mean, it's doing a lot here for Mr. Thugs, as he's just sort of utilizing the advantage that he has as the heavier character, as well as the character with armor from his cart. Oh, okay, but we are seeing the Ice on Deck Min Min going to come here to Town and City, but with the Min Min, that is going to be a really good stage for her here.
Yeah, so I guess we're interested to see us not go back to Smashville, but obviously Ice was having an issue getting in, so he was like, let me get the character that doesn't have to go in.
Yeah, I mean, the very good thing about Min Min is that she is able to do a lot of damage without actually approaching due to the length of her arms as well as her edge guarding potential, which is really strong against a
Whoa.
character. Wow, okay, but here Mr. Thug's just sort of threading underneath of her arms in order to get that first stock there with the back air.
Oh, good up smash to reflect the cannonball. But yeah, we're seeing the game that you have to play against Min Min in neutral is red light, green light. But Mr. Thugs with that armored cart is gonna it's gonna be able to get him in a lot faster than Ice on deck would like him to, and
Yeah.
also in a more horizontal way, or vertical way rather than horizontal.
No, for sure. As you can see here, Mr. Thug's just sort of utilizing a lot of the movement, but he is still going to get hit with that Dragon Arm to lose the stock. So that is the first stock there for Ice on deck. Still has some damage to make up for this game. However, Mr. Thug's proving that he can get in pretty easily. And once you get into Min Min, you can sort of go to town.
Yeah, it's like one of her rear weaknesses when you get up in on her. She just kind of explodes. But you know that zoner can box as it's gonna eat 2 meatballs and he won't be able to survive off of that one. How to get the gout.
Yeah, the Megawatt going to take the stock right there for Ice on deck, and now Mr. Thugs is no longer the one in disadvantage, as I was about to say that. Now they both have 1 stock apiece going into this game 4.
Yeah, Ice found himself a nice spot under a safe little platform as it graciously blesses Mr. Thugs with the FD version of the stage. And both these guys starting to swing at each other as Ice doesn't have anywhere to hide that air. Mr. Thugs drifts in, but he goes a little bit too far.
Yeah, I mean, as a character, for a character like Min Min, a lot of where she finds her weaknesses are either when you get up close to her or when she is trying to land, and that's what you can see Mr. Thugs doing a lot in order to just sort of snuff out Ice on Deck's options in order to rack up as much damage as he can before Ice on Deck is able to reassert his spacing.
Yeah, of course. And especially with the air drift that he's got, he's just able to get in so quickly that, you know, unless you have that platform, that big back air is also going to come through and finish it off. Mr. Thugs able to close the gap and close the set 3-1.
Yeah, really awesome stuff there. I do think that the Min Min was a good choice. However, Mr. Thugs just demonstrated that he was so good at finding those openings, even with a character with large arms like Min Min. I do think that the Toon Link here did some good stuff for Ice on Deck as well, but it was just a lot of the same adaptation though. You know, Ice on Deck favored the up B when trying to take stocks, and Mr. Thugs was able to negate that with calling it out, with going for the back airs, and he just had a lot more conversions and just a lot more damage that he was able to get from interactions than Ice on Deck.
Yeah, and you know, the life of a big body that can really swing it. This Bowser Jr. character is like, you know, he's low key kind of good. It's just he's just in a roster of really good characters. So you know, you learn to sleep on him, but it sounds like this year you figure out that he ain't too bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely the utilization of his movements his different as well as his different attacks that he's able to use is just such a good thing. I think the utilization of that clown cart though from Mr. Thugs, able to get so much damage and even take stocks. So really awesome stuff to see here. Ice on Deck with the Min Min, definitely a great choice. He was able to take some stocks and sort of give Mr. Thugs a run for his money, but eventually, you know, the set just went to Mr. Thugs just because of, at the end of the day, better timing, and which you can really chalk up to better knowledge.
Yeah, but you know, it's I guess it's one of those things that you learn from. You get better at the matchup and you figure out how to keep the space, especially as a mid-min. But yeah, so great set.